Well, everyone, the iPhone 12 is one of those iPhones that came out a couple of years ago, back in 2020, and we're now in the later part of 2024. And I wanted to kind of hit on the changes that this phone has kind of experienced and kind of hit on what exactly we could expect this iPhone to kind of bring for the rest of, the next couple of months and years. Now, the big thing to keep in mind here is that for one, the iPhone 12 is one of those phones that's basically going to be here for probably the next couple of years in terms of software support. With a phone like the iPhone 12, this phone is going to be giving us from the exterior a 6.1-inch Super Retina exterior OLED display. And it's a very good looking panel, right? I love having a panel like this because this thing looks very sharp, it looks very good, and it's still kind of holding up decently well against something like the iPhone 16. With the iPhone 12, you're basically getting an iPhone that's still maintaining the same size display as the iPhone 16. You're getting similar build styling, similar build quality, which I think is kind of interesting. You're getting the notch and everything on the iPhone 12. The dynamic island on the 16 is nice though. The big difference though that the iPhone 12 has at the 16, the only big thing I can kind of think about besides this display and cameras and performance, is the USB Type-C port. Having USB-C on the latest generation of iPhones like the 15s and 16s compared to Lightning that we had on the iPhone 12, it is a pretty big difference in and of itself. And I do love having a phone like on the iPhone, 16 that's going to be giving us USB-C. So this is in and of itself, in my personal opinion, one of the bigger differences there. And if you are going to go through and pick up a device, I would probably say this is in and of itself a massive difference for sure. So that in and of itself, I would say, is a really, really big deal for me. Now, on top of that, I think another very big thing to keep in mind here too is the backside. The cameras and everything are great, but for the most part, when you're comparing this type of phone against the iPhone 16, the 16 is a more enhanced version of the iPhone 12, and now that we're looking at the later part of 2024, that's kind of the main thing we can kind of look through and kind of, compare side by side. So that is, in my opinion, in and of itself, kind of one of the bigger differences here. Now, on top of that, if we're going to go ahead and take a look at iOS 18, this is one of the major changes we've seen with the iPhone 12s, in the later part of this year. And I will tell you, iOS 18 is a massive, massive improvement for the iPhone 12s. I don't know what happened with Apple, but we are seeing the iPhone 12 giving us a way better experience on iOS 18 than I would have expected. My battery life on my iPhone 12 compared to my other iPhones on iOS 18 is absolutely crazy. I'm getting very good performing levels on my iPhone 12 on iOS 18.1. The battery life is better. The performance is getting better. It's overall a really good experience. And I would say my iPhone 12 is kind of in line with my iPhone 13 and iPhone 14 when it comes down to the battery life. So I think this also in and of itself is another pretty big advantage for this type of phone too. And I'm actually a big, massive fan of that type of phone when it comes down to it as well. Now, beyond that, I would say the performance of this phone is still fairly good. I don't really have too many things to complain about this type of phone when it comes down to the overall, capability and quality of this device. So I think that is a pretty big thing to keep in mind there too. I haven't really had too many complaints or too many issues with this type of device. So I think that is kind of in and of itself a very big thing to keep in mind. But I'll probably tell you overall, the iPhone 12 has held up very, very decently well overall in the later part of this year. When compared to the iPhone 16s, when compared on iOS 18.1, it's been giving pretty good experience. If you have more money, I would recommend going up to the iPhone 13s or 14s or those phones. But if you want to save some money, you can also go for the iPhone 12, and I still think it's a very good device too. So overall, that kind of covers it up there for the most part. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.